at work.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to Box Out Boys, another box score episode for us at the instant recap of the NBA Finals tonight. Golden State ties it up 107-88. Was it the final score? Over the Boston Celtics. Chris is here with me, the stats man, in his Celtics green hat. Love it.
It's not Celtics green, but
yeah,
it's fine.
It's fine. And then, of course, Joey, the lawn boss, is here with us. All right, let's go ahead and go to you, Joey. Your instant reaction, game one. How do you feel, man? We'll get right into it.
Draymond was complete sass tonight. I'm using the word sass.
That's right.
He was sass all over the world. And his post-game comments from game one came to fruition. He was spot on in his comments that there was not going to be a repeat with Horford, Marcus Smart, and Derek White going off and torching them, and he was spot on. Outside of Tatum and Brown, this game was absolutely nothing for the Celtics. They had nothing going for them. Warriors laid it on thick, and everything seemed to be going. And since when did Steph learn how to play defense like that? It was a solid 7 minutes.
Solid moments.
It's a solid little 7-minute stretch during the third quarter where he looked like the Marcus Smart running around there. It was just everywhere in every play. But when your starters, 3 of your starters combined for 6 points, that's going to be a tough night at the office.
Oof. Chris, give us your instant take, man.
Yeah, Al Horford looked old. With his little hook that would never go
36 on Friday. It caught up to him.
People kept saying Al Horford's better than Draymond. Let's put it away, and Draymond came out today. He's like, no. And Draymond had, he had that tech. Was that in the first quarter? He had that tech.
Yeah,
he just rammed over Grant Williams. I'm not really sure what was going on there. They gave the Warriors another point, but at the same time, I thought about that. I'm like, no, he's kind of like setting the tone for this game. Maybe, and obviously they blew him out, so it looks smart in hindsight. But Curry was just on. Curry was on last game too. The best part about this game was Jordan Poole, and that he set it up at the end of the third quarter to heave that shot, and it's like he's gonna go for it, right? And it just snaps the net. It was beautiful. Jaylen Brown took a lot of dump shots, and it's really frustrating to see that. Marcus Smart was quiet, but defensively he did little things, but I didn't really see him much offensively.
No, offensively, he only had 2 points, so he wasn't very good.
Yeah, 1-6. Tatum was the only guy really doing anything. Of course, he ends up with the minus 36. My goodness, I don't know what the record is, but that is up there. So great way to tie up the series. Kevon Looney, we were on a 20-point PIP watch with him, points in the paint. He ended up with 12. I'm assuming they're all 6 were in the paint. I didn't
look at that.
6 of 6, I would say they're all in the paint.
Yeah. And they had the inside game. The only thing I don't like about this series is there's really not like a big man to like really, Draymond's kind of big. The guy's 6'7". Grant Williams, he can see exactly. Grant Williams is 6'4", and he's looking like one of the biggest guys on the court out there. Yeah. It's kind of silly. So, but other than that, this has been a very entertaining series so far.
Yeah, my kind of thoughts felt a little like maybe a tale of two halves. The classic tale of two halves. First half was obviously a lot more competitive. Warriors were only up 2 at the half, I believe. Tatum was having another slow start, but he came on. I think he had 5 threes in the first half. I was gonna say a slow half, but he ended up with 5 threes. You can't really say it was slow. Brown looked good early, but late he started having some shot issues. It started even in the second quarter. He really was started to lay some eggs, but he came out hot and got him started. But then after that, third quarter, Warriors came out and just hammered him in the third quarter, and this time didn't let the foot off the gas pedal like last time, where they didn't let him creep in at the end of the fourth or the end of the third, and then the fourth they just buried him. That Jordan Poole shot you were saying, Chris, kind of sealed it, I think. And in hindsight, that was like that. Yep, that's it. You make that, you're not going to do too much. But I will say, I did see some positive stuff from Boston. I still think, they're in good shape. Winning game one. Derek White didn't have a great game. He only had 12. He had 21 last time, but he was still shooting pretty well. And when if he can continue to get some shots up, that's a good sign for them. I think Steph is working really hard to get his points. I mean, he's definitely getting his points. He had 29 tonight. He had a good game, but he looks tired at times. And Joey brought up that stretch in the third quarter where he was getting got the steal off Horford in the paint and made some other key defensive plays and some shots, but he definitely looks like he's working a little hard in my book. And it does seem like, especially in that first half, I was kind of watching for like, all right, well, what's the thoughts going to be in the first half? And my kind of thought was Golden State was in a fight, was in a dog fight. A team, Boston is a team that can definitely push them. Then, of course, second half comes out and they look like, clearly the better team, which was really weird. So Boston just had nothing in that second half.
Curry couldn't miss in that third.
Yeah.
He was just snapping everything.
Blitzed them by 21 in the third quarter.
Yeah, that's crazy. Chris, did you see anything from Boston side of it that you think they can build on going back into Boston? I mean, they got the steal for it's 1-1 going back into Boston. So I would still say they're in control of the series, but what do you think, man?
It's funny. It's weird to say that they're in control of the series because of the way you saw them lose this game. But at the same time, Tatum, Brown, and White were the only guys getting double figures and free throw, field goal attempts. Just pass the ball around a little bit more, maybe get Horford a little more involved. Smart, maybe Smart just didn't have it tonight. Is he hurt? I don't know. I don't know what's going on with them. Grant Williams. What happened to Grant Williams? He got 30 points in a game, and he hasn't really done anything really since. So the point is just get your role players involved a little bit more. There seemed a lot of ISO ball, not as much movement. That's kind of what I was kind of thinking that might happen with this Boston team in a few games. That's kind of what happened tonight.
Yeah,
and like you said, there's not. You shouldn't. No one doesn't think that Boston can still win the series based on this game.
Yeah. Joey, did you see anything that Boston can build on, or you think this is kind of, or did Golden State kind of wrestle control back away from them?
Yeah, I think Golden State did wrestle a bit of control back. I think this might have sucked some energy out of them. Granted, like your starters, your three stars aren't going to score 6 points probably most nights, but they just seem to kind of exert their will and said, we talked about on Thursday night, like, is there a depth to both of these teams? Like, who's going to have that, when everything isn't going perfectly? And the Warriors kind of said, hey, we've got a little bit of depth here. And,
cool.
Jordan Poole had 17 points, and that was definitely helpful. I think the shot selection for Boston has to be better. They were talking about on the broadcast a lot. Tatum was forcing up some shots and not really working to get to a spot. And like you said, Chris, Jaylen Brown was taking some pretty poor shots. They've got to be better, but I don't know. Golden State had that swagger again tonight that I think, we've seen from them in the past. And it seems once they kind of get that swagger about them, they seem to do good things with it. I think they were trying, like in their post-game comments after game one, they were saying, like, I guess all the wrong things in terms of like what you wanted to hear. Hey, they're not going to shoot like this again. This isn't going to happen. Like, but never did they really say like, hey, we kind of coughed up this game.
Yeah.
And it seems like really deep down, they don't actually believe that they coughed that game up. They're like, yeah, it just kind of happened. Like it is what it is. Like most teams would be like, yeah, we let that one get away. We were up big and we should have closed it out. And they're like, yeah, well, they got one. And, it's fine. Like it's not a big deal. Like,
I remember my first finals, man.
Yeah, it's like, oh, it's cute. We remember our first. Yeah, it's exactly it. And I don't know if the what is the No Doug's guys called, the douchebag sweep is in play, but I think the Warriors look. I don't know. I still think that they're
head and shoulders the better team.
I do, absolutely.
Yeah, I think this was big for the Warriors to get back into the series. I kind of was starting to really be on the fence there about my Golden State pick after game one. I think they absolutely needed to win this game. I think they needed to win it the way they did by 20 plus points. Mm-hmm. But I'm still seeing some other things. Some other things I was going to bring up earlier. I forgot. Now I re-remembered them. Clay still doesn't look very good.
Yeah.
And that's an issue. Also, their offense is getting fairly stagnant. It's a less predicated on motion right now, and seems to be going more to that pick and roll with Steph at the top of the key, which is, I guess it worked tonight, but I think it's something Boston can figure out. And I think who was it? Was it Chris? You brought it up in the chat. Daniel Tice had that bad stretch there defensively.
Tice, you don't You don't fall back
You know.
on a PNR screen with Curry.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Bad look.
I don't know what he
that's
was
a bad,
thinking.
tough look. You don't snipe in Carrington. Sorry, that was just. I had to do an office reference there.
Couple
The
other
Call of Duty
stats
reference. Yeah.
from this game. Both teams shot 15 of 37 from three at a 40% clip. And the Celtics had 18 turnovers. Really, the only difference in this game between the teams was the turnover battle.
Mm-hmm.
And, the Celtics were sloppier with the ball. It just didn't seem like they had an offensive cohesion that they ever got going. Curry, man, I still can't get over the fact that how reckless it looks like Curry is with the ball. He just plays so free willingly with it all the time. And it works out so much. So I guess keep doing your
he
thing.
can do it, but
and Celtics shot 50% from three in game one, 40% here. Warriors about the same back-to-back for 3-point percentage. So that's kind of been the story. I feel like it's just the 3-point percentages.
Yeah, I mean, maybe another series of who shoots better from three.
Yeah,
kind of.
There were probably 3 or 4 layups from each Wiggins and Curry though too in the paint that
they biffed.
Were really good looks and they biffed it. So those were early on. Yeah. So they were up 2 at halftime, and it easily could have been like an 8-point halftime lead. I think
that's true.
If there was some of that, Wiggins looked like he was struggling early on. We kind of locked it in. He had a decent game. Didn't shoot great from the field, but had a lot of had some good offensive rebounds. It was just he was active, and I think you can live with that. And then Draymond obviously had 9 points, which is 5 more than game one. But his intensity, I think, and just kind of he was being a pest, but he was being Draymond, and he absolutely got in the heads of the Celtics from very early on. I don't think there was a person that fell on the floor that Draymond didn't stand over. I feel like he was running up to people and just standing over them. He was being that antagonist, and I think it actually worked out in their favor. He did his thing.
Yeah, I mean, that was definitely something else that I saw. And I was going to almost texted you guys, is he doing too much in the first half? And the way he was just kind of getting into everybody's stuff, you know what I mean? There was part of me I wanted him dude, just stop. But it did seem to work out in the way he played into their head and, got them to sort of get off their game a little bit. Yeah. I guess it worked, but my thing is that he almost got himself kicked out of the game when he got in that mix up with Tatum, where he was, putting his feet over him, and then Tatum throws his feet off. I think Van Gundy was pointing it out, or whoever it was on the broadcast, it should be a double tech. And I kind of agree with him. I was like, yeah, this should be a double tech, and Draymond should be gone. And at that point, the game was still kind of in question.
Yeah.
And I don't know, Chris, do you see any of that potentially backfiring on Draymond?
It backfired for them in 2016.
He
got kicked out for that. But he hasn't changed. It's worked out more than it hasn't. I think it's net positive most of the time. He's kind of like the new age version of the bully. The Bulls always had Charles Oakley and Horace Grant kind of holding that down. Now the new age version of that is someone like Draymond, right? I talked about that before. You got to have one guy like that on your team. Bobby Portis, Patrick Beverly,
the pest.
The Celtics. They got Grant Williams is like that
Grant
guy
Williams
sometimes. Al Horford's the dad. He's not really. Yeah, but or Marcus Smart. He's usually the antagonizer.
Oh yeah,
him and Grant were so annoying. They were so quiet in this game. It felt like.
Yeah, I mean, Marcus Smart might have gotten taken out of the game, or taken himself out of the game mentally with his stuff with Draymond, because him and Draymond were going back and forth.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
all
interesting.
Game. Yeah. And he just wasn't there offensively, and they needed him tonight because, like you said, it was mostly just Brown and Tatum. So,
thing is Golden State in a one game can live if Draymond gets tossed. It's a 50-50 game, right? If it's close, they might pull it out, they might not. Boston, you lose Marcus Smart in a game, that's much more detrimental, I feel to Boston than it is to Draymond. And Draymond's kind of got that leash. Hey, we still have Steph, and
sometimes all of our scoring.
Sometimes he gets right. Sometimes he gets fired up when that kind of stuff happens. He's just all right, I'm just going to go for it here. So I feel like he's got that window and that kind of free reign to do it, and it's working for him.
All right, well, let's look forward. Game 3 is in Boston on Wednesday. Chris, who do you think takes it?
Boston bounces back.
Boston bounces back. Joey, does Boston bounce back? They have yet to lose twice in a row in these playoffs. So
I think they lose twice in a row. I think Golden State wins a close one.
A close one. Are we actually going to get a game that comes within single digits?
We're going to get a game. We're going to get some clutch time minutes here.
Clutch time minutes. I think I side with Chris on this. I think Boston comes back.
Wow.
I think it's going to be another, pendulum swing here. With Boston probably winning by 10, 15. But we will see. We will see. I would not be surprised about a close game. But
so any prediction changes? Chris and I had Golden State in 6.
No, I got Boston 6. You guys have
Boston
Golden
6.
State.
I had Golden State
Golden State
7.
I had Golden State 6.
Chris had 6. I had Boston 6. Yeah.
I don't think I'm changing my prediction just yet because it's still in play. Boston wins game 3. There will be a prediction change.
Yeah, I think I'm still locked in Golden State in 6.
I'm rooting for. This is weird because I'd rather see Golden State win.
Yeah,
but like it's
understandable.
I mean, they're just points.
I
think so well in order to win.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I just like right now with Golden State, I'm just starting to see like tonight was the night you needed a barrage of threes. Poole was on, Steph was on. It just looks a little one-dimensional at times. With it's kind of all running through Steph. Now, if it's clicking like it was tonight, there's nothing you can do about it. But
yeah, and there were moments in that game or stretches where they were trying to have Clay be the facilitator. Yeah, he just looks kind of stiff. He doesn't look fully recovered, understandably enough. But it's kind of like it's weird. He always has like one good game a series, and maybe we'll get that again here. But he just did not have it.
I'm waiting for the Clay game. If Clay shows up to this finals, then I'm going to be a lot more confident in Golden State. I think, Chris, you brought it up. Kevon Looney was like eating in the paint. You said the points we were on 20 points in the paint watch. If they can go to him more and get him involved more and kind of take advantage of that inside, that helps too. But right now, it just seems to be like whose guys can hit the
because Robert Williams only played 14 minutes. The guy's not healthy.
Yeah, no, he's not.
So he got the paint's wide open too against that.
Marcus Smart got him.
Yeah, it was just weird. Like we're so used to seeing Boston all playoffs and kind of end back into the season, like make these adjustments throughout the game. And we said first quarter, like, hey, they're locking down the perimeter, they're driving, they're finding Looney wide open, and they didn't seem to actually make that change. And that still seemed pretty open for them for a decent chunk of that game. Granted, I mean, their offense was pretty stagnant and Tatum and Brown were doing everything. So there was probably some, I guess, tired legs on the defensive side. And Tatum was grabbing at his shoulder early on in the game too. So keep an eye on Tatum, see what happens there. But I don't know. It just didn't seem like the Boston that we've seen throughout the series. And I don't know if that was just an off game or if it was like Golden State kind of flexing their muscle that, you could do whatever you want, throw whatever you want at us. We'll just kind of find our way through it.
They did definitely absorb that first half, sort of. They hung on, and then the second half just kind of blew them out. So we will see. Moves back to Boston, 1-1. I still think this is going to be a great series. So I think
it's a good one
6
so
or
far.
7.
It's weird. I mean, even though today was a blowout, it was a good 3 quarters.
Yeah, it was a good 3 quarters.
Kind of, yeah.
But that was the other thing that kind of worries me a little bit is that Boston kind of just punted this one because I think I was starting to set up the stream and everything in the fourth quarter once it was 20 points. I'm like, all right, we're good. But the fact that they really never brought Tatum or Brown back and just kind of rolled with the subs, it was almost like, we'll see you in Boston. And
that's what
was a little like, oh, they're not too worried. It was a little Golden State-ish of like, they're not too worried about this one. They're like, all right, you guys got us. Cool.
Right.
So that also kind of made me nervous. If they had like tried to get this thing close or try to push for a little bit more, I would have been like, oh, you know what? And then couldn't do it. Then I would have been like, I think Golden State's got their number right now. But that was another thing. So
do you think that's a positive or a negative that they did that?
I think it's a positive for Boston.
Yeah.
Like the way that they were just comfortable. Like, okay, it's 1-1. It's kind of that Al Horford. Okay.
It's a marathon.
Okay. Like, all right. It just felt like a Golden State move, like a Golden State against, like Memphis where they're down 50. You're like, yeah, we don't care. We're got game 6 in our gym. Let's go. So, all right. Anything else from you guys or?
Good game. We got Wednesday and Friday now.
Good game. Wednesday and Friday. We will be back for sure. Wednesday and Friday. And there's for sure 5 games now. So we let's see. Do we get the 5-game series? We shall see. Very excited. All right.
Douchebag sweep.
The douchebag sweep is in play.
It's in play.
Joey's calling it. We're holding him to it.
No. I said I don't know if it's in play.
He's
You want me to take it? It's in play. Let's go.
It's in play. It's in play. No hot takes. No hot takes. Well, that is it for us tonight. Join us next week, or Wednesday, to talk the NBA Finals. Follow us at Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch at the Box Out Boys. Slide into those DMs. Send us an email to gmail.com or to theboxoutboys@gmail.com. And as always, like, subscribe, and review wherever you listen to this at now. We very much appreciate that. So for Chris, Joey, and Adam, I'm Titus. Until next time, Box Out!